राजिता सद्भक्तावलिहंस चक्रमधुपा श्रेणीविहारास्पदम् कर्णानन्दिकलध्वनिर्वहतु मे जिह्वामरुप्राङ्गणे श्रीचैतन्यदयानिधे तव रसलीला सुधा स्वर्धुनी. This is a beautiful verse where it is described Krishnot Gana Nartana Kala Patho Jani Bhrajita. Krishna Kirtana, Utkirtana, the loud chanting of the holy name, singing, dancing, and other fine arts which are all associated with Krishna. They are all like lotuses. They are the beautiful lotuses, and the devotees they are beautifying actually. They are beautifying the whole pond of devotional service. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it is said here, Shad Madhupaha Shreni Viharas Padam Shad Bhaktaha Avali Hamsaha Chakraha. So now the description is given. The Bhaktas are compared to the swans, Chakravaka birds. They are the bumblebees. They are the swans. They are taking the pleasure in the Aspadam, in the lotus feet. Varananandi. And here there is a wonderful pleasing sound which is giving pleasure to the ears. And here Krishna Kaviraj Goswami here describes Me Jivha Maru. My tongue was dried, but now let all these flow into my tongue. Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dayanidhi, because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like Ganga. If you see on Ganga, there are wonderful lotuses. So here, whatever kala has been compared to the lotuses. Their bhaktahas are compared to the birds, the chakravak birds, the swans, the bumblebees, because the bumblebees always hanker to come near the lotus. In the same way, the bhaktas are always inclined to chant the holy name of Krishna. So the whole sound which is there in Ganga, it is so pleasing. People go near Ganga, they sit and meditate. Because the Swardhuni, one of the name of Ganga is Swardhuni. The whole atmosphere is so vibrating, full of vibration. That is why the meditators, the Jnanis, Yogis, Bhaktas, they like to go near Ganga. In the same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas are compared to Ganga, where the Bhaktas are very much inclined to go and get associated with the holy name of Krishna. And in this way, it is not only pleasing to the ears, it removes the dryness of our tongue. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll read this previous purport also. Our tongues always engage in vibrating useless sounds that do not help us realize transcendental peace. The tongue is compared to a desert because a desert needs a constant supply of refreshing water to make it fertile and fruitful. Water is a substance most needed in the desert. The transient pleasure derived from mundane topics of art, culture, politics, sociology, dry philosophy, poetry, and so on is compared to a mere drop of water. Because although such topics have a qualitative feature of transcendental pleasure, they are saturated with the modes of material nature. Therefore, neither collectively nor individually can they satisfy the vast requirements of the desert-like tongue. Despite crying in various conferences, therefore the desert-like tongue continues to be parched. For this reason, people from all parts of the world must call for the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are compared to swans swimming around the beautiful lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or bees humming around his lotus feet with transcendental pleasure. Searching for honey, the dryness of material happiness cannot be moistened by so-called philosophers who cry for Brahman liberation and similar dry speculative objects. The urge of the soul proper is different. The soul can be solaced only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, who never leave the lotus feet of the Lord to become imitation Mahaprabhus, but all cling to the lotus feet like bees that never leave a honey-soaked lotus flower. But Chaitanya's movement of Krishna consciousness is full of dancing, singing about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. It is compared herein to the pure waters of Ganga, which are full of lotus flowers. The enjoyers of these lotus flowers are the pure devotees who are like bees and swans. They chant like the flowing of the Ganga, the river of the celestial kingdom. The author desires such sweetly flowing veins to cover his tongue. He humbly compares himself to a materialistic person who always engage in dry talk, from which they derive no satisfaction. If they were to use their tongues to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, as exemplified by Lord Chaitanya, they would taste sweet nectar and enjoy life. So glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, glorifying Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and glorifying all the devotees of Lord Gauranga. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is seeking the blessing to describe the further verses. Tritiya is giving the further verses. Tritiya shlokera artha kari vivarana vastu nirdesha rupa mangala charana. So let me describe the meaning of the third verse of the first 14. It is an auspicious vibration that describes absolute truth. Again, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami wants to describe the three features of Lord. Yadadvaitam Brahmopanishadi tadapyasatanuha yatmantaryami purusha iti soshamsha vibhava shadashvarya purnayaiya bhagavan sasvayamayam na chaitanyat krishna jagati paratatvam param iha na chaitanyat krishna jagati. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And the three features of Krishna which are described, actually they are also three features of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna are non-different. That's why they said what Upanishads are describing as Brahman is nothing but the effulgence which comes out of the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is residing in each and everyone's heart as Paramatma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is full of six opulences. That is why he is Ati Bhagyavan. That is why he is Bhagavan. He is absolute truth, and no other truth is greater. Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramniha. There is no truth greater than him or equal to him. The compilers of the Upanishads speak very highly of the impersonal Brahman. The Upanishads, which are considered the most elevated portion of the Vedic literatures, are meant for persons who desire to get free from material association and who therefore approach a bona fide spiritual master for enlightenment. The prefix Upa indicates that one must receive knowledge about the absolute truth from a spiritual master. One who has faith in his spiritual master actually receives transcendental instructions, and as his attachment for material life slackens, is able to advance on the spiritual path. Knowledge of the transcendental science of the Upanishads can free one from entanglement of existence in the material world. And when thus liberated, one can be elevated to the spiritual kingdom. So here the description is given that one should understand this beginning of all spiritual enlightenment is a realization of these three things: impersonal Brahman, and then the Paramatma who is localized. The very portion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Paramatma. Yantaryami is a super soul, and Lord himself who has all the qualities in full. So it is said Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the master of all wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation himself. He is Lord Krishna himself. So further, the last verse, the verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is confirmed by a parallel statement in the Tattva Sandarbha by Sri Jiva Goswami. The ninth part of the Tattva Sandarbha, it is said absolute truth is sometimes approached as impersonal Brahman, which although spiritual is only a partial representation of the absolute truth, Narayana is the predominating deity in Vaikuntha, is also known as an expansion of Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna is absolute truth, the object of transcendental love of all living entities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not considered as one of the manifestations of Krishna. He is Krishna himself. It's not that he is one of the manifestations of Krishna. No, he is Krishna himself. So that is why it is said, Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratattvam Paramiha. There is no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you see all the qualities which has been described, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. So then he is compared. Further verses are going to come. He is Krishna himself. He is described as Purna. He is complete. He is a real renouncer. Like Rama is an ideal king. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the order of sannyasa. Nobody can compare to him in the order of sannyas. Though in the Kali Yuga it is said sannyas is forbidden, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted. That is why he is complete in renunciation. Others cannot imitate him. They can only follow in his footsteps as far as possible. Those who are unfit for this order of life are strictly forbidden by the injunctions of Shastra to accept it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, is complete in renunciation as well as all other opulences. He is therefore the highest principle of the absolute truth. Brahma Atma Bhagavan Anuvadatena Anga Prabha Amsha Sarupatena Vidheya Chinha. Brahma, Atma, Bhagavan. These are the three Sarupa. Anuvadatina, these are the three subject matters. Anga, Amsha, Sarupaha, Anga, Prabha, Amsha, Sarupaha, Anga, Prabha. What is the Brahman? It is Anga, Prabha. What is the effulgence? Amshaha, the partial manifestation. Sarupaha, original form. Tina Vidheya Chinha. In this way, these are the three respective predicates. अनुवाद आगे पाछे विधेय स्थापना से शुन शास्त्र विवरणम. So अनुवाद आगे पाछे विधेय. The predicate also always follows the subject. You have a subject, you have predicate. The predicate always follows the subject. That means it describes the subject. Now I shall explain the meaning of this verse according to the revealed scriptures. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Paratattva Purna Jnana Purnananda Parama Mahattattva Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vishnu Paratattva. He is the Saman Bonam of all pervading Vishnu. Purna Jnana Purnananda Parama Mahatattva. He is all perfect knowledge. He is all perfect bliss. At the same time, he is the supreme transcendence. Parama Mahatattva. So the subject is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What is the predicate which follows? He is Brahman, all effulgent. The effulgence coming from the body of Lord. He is the same Brahman, impersonal Brahman. He is the Paramatma residing or localized super soul residing in everyone's heart. He is Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. Nanda Sutta Bali Yandre Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Prakoshani Nanda Sutta Bali. So Bhagavatam describes the son of Nanda Maharaj. The same son of Nanda Maharaj has appeared now as Chaitanya Gosai. So according to the rules of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature, a subject must be mentioned before its predicate. What are you focusing on? So that is how any description, any scripture starts. That is how even the preachers, they should always focus. First, what is the subject you are speaking? Then you describe the subject. The description is known as predicate. If we are confused with the subject, we can never describe the predicate. We can never describe the subject. Sometimes there is a heavy description here, there, here, because the subject is not focused. If the subject is focused, subject is suppose how Krishna is so humble. Then you go on describing, like yesterday the subject was remembering Krishna. Bhagavatam was speaking about remembering Krishna. So when Vidura is asking Uddhava, how are you? What was the reply of Uddhava? Why are you asking this question? How are you is not Kushalam, Kim Kushalam. Then what did he say? Why are you asking this question to me? Kim Kushalam. How can I be happy? Or how can I be peaceful? How can the world be peaceful? The subject is what? The subject is this asking this very question, Kushalam, that is the subject. And actually the subject is not even that. Subject is why, what happens if a person forgets Krishna? Because in Kali Yuga, the name and Krishna are non-different. Remembering Krishna is the subject. For that, so many predicates came. Kim Kushalam, why are you asking? Then I am remembering Krishna's wonderful activities. That is all comes in predicate. That means what things are remembered behind him. That is all predicate. The same way, any literature, there is always a subject, and the subject has to be focused. And with that subject, there are so many expansions which is done. But it is not widely known what is approached as a impersonal Brahman. So when a person is describing Bhagavan, he should first understand there are three features of Lord, and he should describe the three features of Lord. Because if just he thinks, oh, Bhagavan means only Surupaha. No, he should know to describe the three features. Lord is present everywhere as Brahman. Lord is present inside your heart, my heart. Lord is present in his own personal abode. The author wants to establish first that the essence of Vedas is Vishnu Tattva. The absolute truth, Vishnu, all pervading Godhead. The Vishnu Tattva has different categories. Then you describe. Now you want to describe God, Lord Krishna, then Vishnu Tattva. Everything can be described. The three energies can be described. So throughout in Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Nanda Sutta, the son of King Nanda. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says Nanda Sutta has again appeared as Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he bases this statement on his understanding that the Vedic literature concludes there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what is the subject of this chapter? No difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Then for that, so many evidences are given. That is the subject, predicate becomes what all research a person can do. Okay, Tattva research. How many truth is there? What are the truth? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Then, how to prove Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are non-different? And citing many examples. So that is how the predicate is trying to prove the subject which has been taken. The same absolute truth as he is revealed to students of different realizations is called Brahman. Prakasha Vishesha Tenha Thare Tina Nama Brahma Paramatma Swayam Bhagavan. You see in how many verses the same tattva has been again and again cited. That is because there are so many unscrupulous people who call themselves Bhagavan. When they call themselves Bhagavan, they think that they remove some lingas, some vibhuti, and the people, foolish people, they consider them as Bhagavan. There are people declaring themselves as God. That is why again and again these three features have been spoken. If you are God, are you there in my heart? Do you know what are my desires? If you are God, are you present in every atom, every molecule? If you are God, do you have all the 6 wonderful qualities which God has? So, ultimate of all the qualities is renunciation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu renounced, and the renunciation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified. That is why they said, don't try to imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because such type of renunciation nobody can do. So, the 3 features of Lord first has to be understood before declaring somebody as God or before declaring ourselves as God. Prakashe Vishesha. This is all Prakasha Vishesha Teha Dhave. So in terms of his various manifestations, he is known in the 3 features, Brahma, Paramatma. Sri Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Sandarbha. Shad Sandarbhas are there. In that Bhagavad Sandarbha, about Lord has been described. This word Bhagavan has been described. This Jiva Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha. So like this, there are 6 Sandarbhas. When time permits, or when in the DC program, we can take all the Sandarbhas, also Shat Sandarbhas. We can read from Shat Sandarbhas. The personality of Godhead being full of conceivable and inconceivable potencies is absolute supreme whole. Impersonal Brahman is a partial manifestation of the truth, realized in the absence of such complete potencies. The first syllable Bhagavan is Bha, which means sustainer and protector. Bha. The next letter is Ga, that means leader, pusher, creator. Then comes Va, dwelling, Vasati, Va, dwelling. All living entities dwell in the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord dwells in the heart of every living being. Bhagavan. Combining all these words, what happens? The word Bhagavan. Bha means protector, Ga means leader, Va means one who dwells in everyone's heart. He protects, he sets an example, and he is the abode of everyone. And then Bhagavan, this word, also has all the potencies which has been described: knowledge, energy, strength, confidence, power, influence. Without such inconceivable potencies, one cannot fully sustain or protect. So why these qualities are required? Then only you can protect a person. Bhagavan, Ha means protector. That is why one should have all the qualities to protect, and not a single jiva has all the qualities in full. It is Lord who has all the qualities in full. That is why he is ultimate protector. Our modern civilization is sustained by scientific arrangements devised by many great scientific brains. We can just imagine, therefore, the gigantic brain whose arrangements sustain the gravity of the unlimited number of planets and satellites, and who creates the unlimited space in which they float. If one considers the intelligence needed to orbit man-made satellites, one cannot be fooled into thinking that there is not a gigantic intelligence responsible for the arrangement of the various planetary systems. There is no gigantic reason to believe, there is no reason to believe that all the gigantic planets float in the space without the superior arrangement of a superior intelligence. This subject is clearly dealt with in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. In 15th chapter, 13th verse. Where the planets are not held in the grip of the Supreme Lord, they would have all scattered like the dust in the air. Modern scientists can only impractically explain this inconceivable energy of Lord. The potencies of the syllable bha, ga, va, bha, ga, va is sustainer, ga is the leader, and va is the abode. So it applies in terms of many different meanings. Through his different potent agents, the Lord protects, sustains. He himself protects and sustains only his devotees, just as a king personally takes care of his own children, while entrusting the protection and sustenance of the state to various administrative agents. But when it comes to his own child, the king protects the child personally. In the same way, Krishna is the leader for his devotees. That means he personally takes care of the devotees. Leader means one who sets an example, one who instructs, one who shows the path. That person is leader. So for a devotee, Krishna is leader. For a general mass of people who are not interested in devotional service, Krishna has given law of nature. And Krishna has given various demigods law of nature to instruct them. But when it comes to the devotees, instructions are given by Krishna. Krishna says, you are my Sakha. You are my Bhakta. Bhaktosi me Sakha cheti. That is why I am giving this instruction to you. Krishna tells to Arjuna. So leader means one who should take care. DCL. Many times we are confused. What is this DC leader? DC leader means he should have that type of hold on his devotees that he can instruct them. And that can come only when he cares them. When he is a mother for the devotee, then he can have the authority to instruct, hey, do this, don't do this. And only a mother can tell. That is why it is not so easy to become a DC leader. Though the position may be given as a DC leader, but he is not bothered. For 3 weeks, the devotee is not seen. What happened? Is something wrong in their house? He's not bothered to know. He comes like a temple president. His class is arranged by everyone. He will come. Okay, you sing, you sing, you sing, you sing. Okay, everybody sings. Okay, you read this, you read that. Over. Then goes away. That person is not a DC leader. Krishna here, Bhagavan, even why Krishna is Bhagavan, Va, Bhagaga refers to when it comes to the devotees, he is the leader. That means he takes care of them personally. He instructs them personally. Krishna says very clearly, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. You are my sakha. You are my friend. You are my devotee. So that is what is the concept of DC leader. Krishna sets an example. And we have seen there are many failures when they call themselves DC leaders. They are not at all fit to be called because they are not interested in taking care of the devotees. Caring is not just giving class. Caring means understanding his problems, understanding his challenges. What are the challenges that he's facing in his life? It's very, very important. And Krishna sets an example. The Lord is also the recipient of all the adoration offered by his devotees, for whom he is the object and the goal. For his devotees, the Lord creates a favorable condition for developing a sense of transcendental love of Godhead. Sometimes he does it by taking away a devotee's material attachment by force and baffling all his material protective agents. So how Krishna takes care? Sometimes by thrashing. Like mother thrashes the child. Mother removes certain facilities which has been given to the child because the child is misusing the facility. So just see, even that is the work of a DC leader, devotee care leader. He should know when to give facility, when to remove the facility, when to give position, when not to give position. When the position is misused, immediately one should remove it. Because ahankara can come because of misuse of the position. So in the same way, Krishna, he knows what to give to the devotees. If there is this misuse of the things given, then Krishna immediately removes it. Yasyaham anugrahami harishe tadharam. Whoever Krishna has the special compassion, Krishna removes the facilities. Yeah. So whoever yasyaham anugrahami harishe tadhanam sharei. So whoever Krishna has blessed, that means he has considered that this person is my devotee. Then Krishna deals with him directly. That is the anugraha which Krishna shows to the devotees. Sometimes providing facilities, sometimes withdrawing the facilities. It doesn't matter. Even the facilities are the mercy of Krishna. Withdrawal of the facility is also mercy of Krishna, because Krishna is dealing with the devotees directly. So that is how the mercy flows by the Lord. So any questions? Here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask. So today Bhakti Shastri is starting. Those who have enrolled their names for Bhakti Shastri, 8 o'clock there will be an orientation program for the Bhakti Shastri students. And those students who have not paid, please make the payment. Mostly all of them have done. There are 49 to 50 students who have enrolled.